embarking on that particular test, a student struck an elder of the community who happened to be a youth. And so it infuriated the community members who launched an attack on the students. And it did escalate from the campus through to the streets of the Aflaku community. And then the police had to even intervene before the situation could be calmed down. And then if you come to the campus here, as I speak to you, there are several desks that have been destroyed because some campus actually did enter into the school premises and then began attacking the students who also retaliated by breaking these desks and then using them as weapons. So while this incident was unfolding, the police who happened to be around at the time actually did conduct some search on students, and then 4 of them were actually arrested by the police, who are currently in custody.
I see, Akwesi, if you could position properly so that we can hear you when you speak to us, I'd be grateful. But let's talk about those who have been arrested. This was a clash between students and town folk, but only 4 students have been arrested. Let's talk, what is the connection here?
So the connection here is that the police found some offensive weapons on these students. And so the police did arrest them. But the police, as of now, are yet to launch a full-scale investigation into the matter, asking to visit the community and ensure that any other person who is linked to this particular incident is arrested and then subjected to investigation. But right here on campus, academic activities have grounded to a halt. All the students have been moved from their classrooms, and then they've now been gathered in numbers under schools, and then ask the school management to try to monitor the situation, because the classrooms are not safe for the students. You know, some of the classrooms do not have windows, and so town folks have been launching attacks from that end, and so the school management was too wide to bring academic activities to a halt so that they can properly manage the situation here.
Well, Akwesi, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for the reporting. Akwesi Ado is a Central Region correspondent following that story about students of Christian Methodist Senior High School in Aplaku who were arrested earlier over a clash in that community with some town folk. More on this story in later broadcasts.
Right now, let's return to the capital, where President Mahama has announced that his government is engaging the Speaker of Parliament on sponsoring the controversial anti-LGBTQ+ bill that never saw assent by the former NPP administration. Now, speaking at the President's worship with the clergy at the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service, President Mahama says he only believes 2 genders exist in the world, a male and a female.
I, as a Christian, uphold the principle and the values that only 2 genders exist, man and woman. And that a marriage is between a man and a woman. I've spoken with the Speaker so that a renewal of the expired Proper Families Values Bill should be a bill that is introduced by government rather than as a private member's motion. And it's my hope that that consultation would see a renewed Proper Families Values Bill. As we embark on this journey of national renewal, I'm reminded of the words in Ecclesiastes again, 9:11. And it says, the race is not for the swift, nor the battle for the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. The scripture reminds us that despite human effort, it is God who eventually ordains the victory. And that is why I ask for your continued prayers and your moral support. As Christian leaders, you are the spiritual backbone of our country. Your guidance, your counsel, and intercession will be instrumental in ensuring that we stay on the right path. The church has always played a crucial role in shaping our society. And I urge you to continue being the voice of righteousness, unity, and progress. Men and women of God, brothers and sisters, in conclusion, once again, I wish to thank you for your unwavering faith, support, and belief in our shared vision for Ghana. I do not take your prayers for granted. And I'm committed to working hard.
That's President Mahama speaking at the Accra International Conference Center. Komla Kluche is our presidential affairs correspondent. We're connecting with him right now with a bit more details with respect to what the president has been saying at this prayer and thanksgiving session with the clergy, and really how soon possibly we could be seeing this new proper values, family values bill return to the legislature. But while we work the lines and connect with Komla Kluche, who's our presidential affairs correspondent, well, he used to cover Parliament for us, and that's where we're going as we continue to monitor proceedings where vetting is currently underway. Let's take you there right now.
To their reps because of their endowment.
Thank you. Rightly so, as His Excellency said, to pay across board because some districts are less endowed, like I said earlier on. And so that's the way to go for now until we are able to win some assemblies and all assemblies to be able to pay their own allowances.
I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Shabu Mahama. While I recognize Honorable Doyo under Standing Order 2177.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, congratulations.
Thank you, my leader.
I know you go and make us proud because you have been a DC before, MC before, and a member of Parliament. My biggest problem is Accra is dirty. Accra is dirty. How are you going to support your minister? Because now, Minister of, how do they call it? No, Minister of Sanitation has been merged with local government. How are you going to support it? Because all this while, we all pretend we are cleaning, but we are not cleaning. Everywhere is dirty. How are you going to support him do that? And let me add this one to it. I believe connecting our chiefs to bring our old traditions, that they beat gong to organize people to clean our areas. If we revive those things, it will help us. So just tell us something you feel we can do.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Together with my minister, I believe we have to work with the various regional coordinating councils, the district assemblies, and like you said, you suggested the chiefs in the various regions, because in the NDC manifesto, we have the Clean Up Ghana. When you look at 6.3, it's rightly there. And so it's where we are going to go back to the monthly cleanup exercises. And we need to educate ourselves. We need, there's the need for sensitization of our various areas, especially our markets areas and the drains in our communities, so that we'll be able to clean up the areas very well. And there should be laws pertaining to cleanliness in the country. Because if there are no laws, people are arrested when they commit sanitation offenses, they are taken to the courts, they are fined, and they are left to go. But there should be laws that will help us, that when the person commits the offense, the person is made to carry out some form of activity relating to the offense the person created. And I believe when we come up with this law, it's going to help us very well. But we have to take the Clean Up Ghana program seriously by the NDC administration. Thank you.
My second question. I don't believe in Abaye because anytime I travel outside the country, there is hours that even the whites, they allow them to come on the streets to do their business, and then when it's time, they all pack and go and give way for other businesses. How are you going to manage the Abaye? Because I don't want to see this, our women, that we have not made provisions for them to get a good place, 1, 2. Then they are single mothers, taking care of their children. Some are even taking care of their children and their husband at home.
Okay.
So the moment you start frustrating them, then you are adding more to their wounds because their children are in schools. So how are you going to manage it? Because the moment you start Abaye, for me there, I'll fight you. So the question is, how are you going to manage it?
My leader, I believe you answered the question in your question. Honorable Chair, it's so disheartening to see women, especially the women, being chased with their wares, and sometimes their wares are taken from them. They don't know where the wares are taken to. And it's no crime to be selling, but there need to be guidelines as to where they will carry out their activities. I'm in Accra, so I'll speak of Accra. Just go to Accra. So we need to advise them. Like you said, maybe 2 days, we give them some freedom. 3 days in the week, you have to obey the law, so that it won't be that we are chasing them. Or otherwise, maybe 2 hours in a day, you come out to sell, and then the rest of the hours, you go inside the market. But, Honorable Leader, this is a women matter, and I think you have taken it seriously. And we have not made provision for them. And so it's difficult. But the way to go is support them 2 hours on the road or 2 days in the week for them to carry out their activities so that they will not be found wanting. Believe you me, I also do not believe in Abaye. Thank you.
Now we thank God, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is making provisions to pay assembly members. So now how are you, give them some allowance. So how are you going to cooperate with them and make sure you give them what they need to do properly? Give them a roadmap so that they work in their district, especially concerning this cleanliness and other things. Let's hear something from you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader. My minister will lead in this direction and will ensure that things are done right. Thank you.
Congratulations, and I know you are going to make Accra and Ghana proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Leader. Oyiradon.
Thank you. I'll give the floor to Honorable Mahama Shaibu.
Congratulations.
Thank you, my honorable brother.
Because we have our revered chiefs and queen mothers here, I'll just do a question on chieftaincy and disturbances within the chieftaincy fraternity, especially during festivals. A very beautiful, peaceful institution of late has been marked by modernity and some acts of hooliganism. The recent case of shooting at Nongwa during the enskinment of a queen mother comes to play. as a daughter of the area, and coming into a ministry that will superintend over chieftaincy affairs, what would you suggest to your minister to curb such disturbances and occurrences?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. This is a very unfortunate situation, and my condolences to the bereaved family at Nungwa. You know, when there are chieftaincy, there are programs, traditional programs, there's some form of shooting that is a musketry, and we are supposed to use gunpowder for such things, unless I'm not right, but that's what I know. And as we witnessed or we heard at the Nungwa incident, it means they use live bullets at the program, which to me is not right. And so I believe with my minister, he will lead, and then we'll work together with the Ministry of Interior, so that when there are such programs where they are going to use guns, they need to take permits from the police, or there should be security presence at such functions. And I believe that is what is going to help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. A few weeks ago, you were seated here and firing people questions. How does it feel? and on that note, let me wish you the very best.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. I will proceed to give the floor to the Deputy Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My dear sister, I'd like to ask questions of you, not because I want to ask questions, because I enjoy the type of answers that you give. And it's a way of educating people out there, the public, on what has to be done. And I must say that I'm very proud of you, because you are one of the very few women that have been appointed, both in the ministerial, first ministerial level and the second ministerial level. But Honorable, because we are conversing, let me ask, yesterday there was a statement by the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, about the numbers of women that have been appointed so far. And you agree with me that the Affirmative Action Act has a specific demand so far as appointments are concerned. And if you look at the clause 14.2, there are areas well specified where the President is required to make up to 30% at all levels. We heard the President mention that currently he's been able to achieve 23%. Is there any hope, looking at the various, the 4-2 from A to G or so, is it possible for the President to achieve this 30%? And if it is possible, if it is not possible at this point in time, what would you recommend to through your minister to the President to address this issue? Because it has been passed, and we need to achieve it. If we don't require it, we will never achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Leader, you know we've been in this together, the Affirmative Action Bill. We worked through the process, and now it's law. As we speak, the President His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been able to appoint 23.8% women into his administration, and I believe he will make the 30% mark. As I sit here, I started with him as Municipal Chief Executive. He appointed me to that position. So I believe he's someone who wants to work with women and works with women, and so he will achieve the 30%. 30% in the affirmative action law, and I know he's on course. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. A follow-up to that. I appreciate the effort made by the President to even give us a Vice President who is a female, and I appreciate very well. And I believe that in order not for the Affirmative Action Act to be just lying on the shelf and its implementation becoming so difficult, I asked a specific question, that what would you advise the President? Do you think, let me give you an alternative, maybe that will help. If you don't agree with me, say you don't agree with me. Don't you think that the President will require a unit whereby he will make the conscious effort to search and identify the women that can work? Because he came with an excuse that even with the district assemblies, he's having difficulty because not many women have applied for it. But I know there are some women who have applied. And if care is taken, you will be able to achieve it. Don't you think he requires that unit to advise him?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I believe my ministry, together with the Gender Ministry, will collaborate to see how best would the President will improve on the percentage of women we have. Like you rightly said about the district assembly, most women are shying away from politics, and we need to encourage them. Like I said, we need to have mentorship programs for the women, so that if we make a conscious effort, we know that within 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we'll have a number of women coming up there. Because believe you me, no man will come and pull you from your house to come and join the political race. You need to, we women, we need to make a conscious effort to mentor other women that are coming up to fill up the space where we have it. So I know His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, is listening to us, and he has heard you. And so with the Gender Ministry, we'll take it from there. Thank you.
You're still live on NewsCentral here on TV3. There'll be more from that veteran a little later. Right now, however, let's turn attention to the Volta region, where the Regional Coordinating Council has declared the water from Tetteh as safe for usage after preliminary investigations. Water from the river was last week declared unsafe for consumption as a result of fears that it was possibly contaminated from agrochemicals that spilled into the river at Tetteh in Togo, when a truck carrying agrochemicals was involved in an accident. But the Volta Regional Coordinating Council, in the latest press release dated 27 February 2025, has declared the water safe for use. Let's touch base on the story. Faisal Abdul-Idrisu is our Volta region correspondent. Faisal, good afternoon. What more have you gathered from the Volta Regional Coordinating Council regarding this issue? Hello, Faisal. I'm afraid I can't hear you. But if you can unmute yourself and tell us what else you know about this issue. Well, it appears that we can't connect with Faisal, but Faisal Abdul-Idrisu is our Volta region correspondent. We'll reconnect on that story a little later. Right now, I want to take you to the Ashanti region, where the suspect in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology final year student murder case has been arraigned before the Prempeh Assembly Hall Circuit Court. Daniel Tufo was arrested after a CCTV camera captured him with the victim at the crime scene. Well, for more on this, we're joined by Ashanti region correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar. Ibrahim, good afternoon. Let's talk about this story a little bit more, particularly court proceedings today. What happened?
Well, we've not been able to have the opportunity of looking at the CCTV camera, but the information we've gathered from those who have had access to the video shows that they saw the suspect together with the deceased, and they realized the suspect was beating her. She went unconscious. He carried her and brought her to the crime scene. That is around the Disability Rehabilitation Center at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Now, that area in the evening is dark, even though they have CCTV cameras. Identifying your face is a bit difficult, so they had to trace the suspect from one camera to the other, and they saw him in the same shirt that he was wearing in the morning of Thursday when he was writing his midterm examination. And now the information we've also gathered from some colleague students is also to the effect that the suspect has, for the past few weeks, been having a confrontational or beating up the victim as and when, because they were in a relationship and it was going down the drain. So he was attacking her, physical assault, and we are told that there has been instances where he was even reported to university management. So today he was brought before the Prempeh Assembly District Court. In fact, it was a brief court session. When he came, his plea was not taken. The prosecutor requested that they be given 2 weeks to continue or finish up with their investigation. The judge has granted, and as we speak, the suspect, Daniel Tufo, has been remanded in police custody, and he will reappear in court on Friday, next week's Friday, March 14. In fact, the family of the deceased were here. I saw the father and other family members. You look at their mood, very, very sad. They are here to see the outcome of the court case. They say that in as much as the verdict will not bring their daughter back to life, at least if they get the justice that they require, it will kind of assuage their pain.
I see. And let's talk about this gentleman a little bit. What do we know about him?
Well, we don't have much details about him, but what we do know that he's also a final year student, and he has been in a relationship with this or the deceased for some couple of years. So they are known, very known on campus, and they are known to be together, but we've not gathered much information about him yet.
I see. Talk to us about the victim, the young lady who is now deceased.
Well, Joanna Deladem is a final year. She's a biological science student, 21-year-old. She was having the aspiration of even moving from the biological sciences, going to the medical sciences, becoming a doctor one day. But her colleagues have described her as the cool-to-go type, very calm, very humorous, but they know them to be a relationship. But like I said, for the past few weeks, she has even complained to some of her friends about the abusive relationship she has been into. But some advised her to opt out, but they don't know what happened, and this unfortunate incident had to happen. People are not giving much information about it, but you go to campus, you realize that especially the female students, most of them, they are down-spirited. In fact, yesterday when I went to campus in the evening, what I observed was that they were moving in pairs, especially in dark places, you know, because they are currently writing their midterms. Most of them don't sleep early. They have to conduct group studies, moving from their residential halls or their hostel facilities to their classroom back and forth. So yesterday I could sense that some of them were in a fear and panic situation and they were moving in groups. But there were also concern about abusive relationship among some students. That's what I gathered from those who I engaged with yesterday. And some have complained that on a number of occasions, they witnessed similar abusive relationship.
I see.
They are just hoping that school management will put measures in place to be able to address some of these things to prevent future reoccurrence of this tragic incident.
Indeed, Ibrahim, thank you so much for talking to us. Ibrahim Abubakar is our Ashanti region correspondent, giving us an update on that murder case at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We'll continue to follow the story and bring you updates as they emerge. In the meantime, let's go back to the Volta region, where the Regional Coordinating Council has declared the water from Tetteh as safe for usage. After preliminary investigations, water from the river was last week declared unsafe for consumption as a result of fears that it was possibly contaminated from agrochemicals that spilled into the river at Tetteh in Togo when a truck carrying agrochemicals was involved in an accident. But the Volta Regional Coordinating Council, in a latest press release dated 27 February 2025, has declared the water now safe for use. Faisal Abdul-Ajisu is joining us once again. Faisal, hopefully we can hear you now. What else can you report about the story?
Yes, Kemini. So, Tetteh is a river that draws its source from the Volta River and has tributaries all the way through Togo to the West District, through the Yofe District, down through Adafro and the Asante South District. So last week, when the issue came up, residents were warned against using the water. This is a water source that a number of residents along these communities, along the tributaries, depend largely on for domestic use. So they were warned against it. Yesterday, the Volta Regional Coordinating Council issued a statement indicating that preliminary investigations into the situation indicate that the water is so wholesome for use, at least for now. They are, however, urging residents to treat the water when they search it before they could use it. They are also telling us that they are working with their counterparts in Togo to identify the very source where the spillage occurred and to get samples from that end for further testing. They have also indicated in that release they issued yesterday that a final determination to this issue will be done by the Ghana Standards Authority. And so a sample of the water has also been sent to them for a final determination. Once that is done, you come out with their findings. So yes, this morning I spoke to the Regional Coordinating Director, Mr. Augustus Awiti, who actually gave a deeper insight into this issue that we are talking about. We may have to take a listen to what he told me earlier today.
Wrote to the various authorities in the regions and agencies, such as Ghana Standard Authority, NADMO, Food and Drug Authority, the Regional Environmental Health Unit, to go and do a preliminary examination of the Tetteh to ascertain whether there's a contamination or not. After the preliminary examination of the fishes and so on and so forth and the water, the findings is that there's no suspected contamination as of now. And the caution is that we are waiting for the final determination from the Ghana Standard Authority Laboratory. And therefore, we are cautioning residents not to rely on the raw water, because even at certain points of the Tetteh, there are suspected iron deposits, and which is not good for consumption. So we are asking them not to rely on the raw water for now until the final test results are out. So they should only use the treated water from the lake. Thank you.
Faisal, how significant is this water source to the people in the area?
Didn't hear that.
I'm asking how significant, how important this water source is to the people in the area.
Yes, for instance, the Tetteh township itself doesn't really have a reliable source of water, and so the Sowah is where they draw water from, morning, afternoon, evening. And so when the incident happened last week, the Regional Coordinating Council, with support from the MPs, had to transport water in tankers to the community, which they are currently relying on. Yesterday, when the communique was issued, early this morning, people have already started searching for the river. So the river we are talking about is very, very important to them. All the way through to villages in the Akati South area, they rely largely on it for domestic use.
I see. Very well, Faisal. Thank you so much for the reporting. Faisal Abdul-Idrisu is our Volta region correspondent.
Now, the 77th 28th February crossroad shooting incident has been observed in Accra. Veteran soldiers are calling for meaningful remuneration.
I'm standing on the road leading to the castle here in Osu, where 77 years ago, 3 ex-servicemen, Sergeant Ajete, Corporal Atipo, and Private Odate, were shot and killed when they and other unarmed ex-servicemen were on march to the Christianborg Castle to present a petition to the then British colonial governor concerning their unpaid allowances. Years after their deaths, this landmark event is observed every year in honor of the fallen heroes. Today's event, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, was a special guest of honor. The Defense and Interior Ministers were also present. Wreaths were laid, one by the Vice President on behalf of the state, another by the Chief of Defense Staff on behalf of the security services. 3 other wreaths were laid. Flags were also hoisted. Some veterans have been speaking to us with their welfare issues being paramount.
In fact, we are here, we are very sorry and sad and happy that the government has taken initiative to celebrate this thing. Pay and the rest make this thing happen. And the same thing is there, it hasn't changed. If you compare ex-servicemen to the other country and other, US is very small. So at least if those who are serving, if they take about 100 cedis and those who are not serving take about 70%, it's okay. Because without us, they will never come. Not that when we are dead, then you decorate us and all. As you are present, give us what we have to eat and satisfy us.
Every Ghanaian should be involved in showing appreciation. And this is what happens in other countries. Unfortunately, in our part of the world, you even come out with poppy appeal, and people are unwilling to do it, either because they don't know or they just don't care.
And you're still here on NewsCentral, returning to the vetting room or the committee rooms 1 and 2 in Parliament, where the Utu Senior West Member of Parliament, Gizella Tetteh, also Minister Designate for Works, Housing and Water Resources, is currently before the Appointments Committee, taking her turn. Let's take you live there right now.
Amen.
And we wish you the very best. But let's do some business here.
Very well.
As a professional architect, I know you have your own scale of fees, like other professions, the Bar Association and the Institution of Engineers. A lot of people complain that you don't charge within the scale or what is approved. Your profession is going to be supervised by your ministry, true or false?
It is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Can you run us through some of the fees and how you intend to use your new position to ensure that clients are properly protected and that they charge within the approved rates by law? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you know, The Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources has also the supervisory mandate over the various professional associations, which is the Ghana Institute of Architects, the Ghana Institute of Engineering, Ghana Institute of Surveyors. And so they often come up with a scale of fees. It's often a composite figure. The last one, the information I have, last time it was revised was on 6 December 2021. And so there's a range. It is, you could almost say it is regulated by the ministry. The range of the categories of professionals are the project director, principal consultant, senior consultant, consultant, and junior consultant. Now, every firm, and depending on the nature of the job, will have a certain category of personnel that are part of it. And so, based on obviously your seniority, there will by all means be maybe one senior person in a typical job environment, one senior consulting environment, one senior person with some junior personnel. Whichever way, the composite figure is 16.5%. Now this makes up, it's not just an architect, it is most of the time. There will be an architect, there will be a civil structure engineer, there will be a quantity surveyor, there will be an electrical engineer, there will be a mechanical engineer. So it is a composite figure for a team of professionals. Thank you.
Then you've chopped Honorable.
Mr. Chairman, should I respond to that?
No, Honorable Nominee.
Chairman, I'll go to my second question. I got a few calls from players within the real estate sector. You know, together we passed the Real Estate Act, and there is VAT on real estate, which...
Still here on NewsCentral. We're going for a quick break, and then when we return, we take you back to the vetting of Gizella Tetteh.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Hey, na no fe ukwanya wakasakasa ubwafu musi. Enya me brother Mr. Happiness na ehame. Me say wo hu say Ghana Post aye fast, reliable and affordable nti. Na nsen na numa ye ni de edwanya kuma mi di e de kwama no e fa Ghana Post na e de fa so ma sakodi da me de Ghana Post
food and merchandise from Ghana to anywhere in the world.
Well, let's return to the vetting committee right now, what you also like to be called the appointments committee, and bring your proceedings from there.
Yes, it's natural. You can do it and you are doing it. It's a simple thing. You are gifted, so it's not about a half caste or a quarter caste or a full caste. However, my sister, your profession is a profession that whenever I look at it, even looking at people outside, and you get up to speak in Parliament, I wonder how you have been able to do it. Because I think it's mostly predominantly a male instituted area. I don't know, when you were in school and decided to take up these courses or this line of study, how many of you were in that class that were women or girls who actually took up the trouble to become engineers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable, we were 40 in the class, and there were 10 women and 30 men. That class of 1990, we entered KNUST in 1990. It was actually, at first they used to take very small classes, 18, 20, they wouldn't go beyond 22. So ours was like the largest jump they had ever taken, even in quantum. Now the university takes much larger classes, but they started with us. It is a male-dominated area, yes. In fact, a bit of it maybe stems from upbringing. As you know, we are 4 sisters. Our father did not bring us up to be soft. Let me put it. Let me use the word independent. We are quite independent, and so he also did not withhold advice. If this is what you think you want to do, then go ahead and do it. And being a woman does not deter you from doing it. And actually, working with men is also quite pleasant. And all 10 of us in my class, if I recall, we are all practicing in one way or the other. We are all practicing. Thank you.
My second question, Chairman, I might not know much about your area, but I know mostly some of the works that are done, especially building, construction, what have you. You will have a lot of work to do there. Sometimes you either see or you hear how buildings collapse because maybe they haven't followed the rules and regulations binding the putting up of such structures. What will you do to support your minister to ensure that people adhere to the rules and regulations binding certain structures, not only the materials that are used, but where those structures are actually also put up? What will you do to support your minister so that they will adhere to it? We don't have those problems.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Generally, in our built environment, there are specifications and standards that must be adhered to. Specifications and standards in the choice of materials, specifications and standards in the processes of construction, and it also has a lot to do with quality, workmanship, and the like, and then supervision. Many cases of buildings collapsing, I'm sure the investigative reports will say there was either maybe substandard materials or substandard construction or no supervision. Most of the time, many of these challenges, but I would wish that, and I'll take this opportunity to really talk about professionalism in the construction industry, because it's very important. You see, when you think about it, you're putting up maybe your house. That may be your biggest investment in your lifetime. And so you must use the right professionals and have the right supervision, using the right materials and the specifications.
Let's go for yet another break. We return to take the show home.
Through every step of life's unpredictable journey, every moment counts. That's why you need a partner you can always trust for solutions, so you can be rest assured. Having impacted over 200,000 lives, processed over 4.2 million claims, partnered with over 400